What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NBA podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Dustin back on the show. What's up, Dustin?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me as always.
Yeah, good to have you on. This is the 2022 NBA playoffs preview. The playoffs start tomorrow, and tonight we've got the last play-in games, and it's looking like um, the Pelicans are going to beat the Clippers. It sucks we're not getting to see Paul George tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately not, man. I'm a big fan of Paul George, and I was hoping that the Clippers make it. I mean, right now it's a 12-point game, anything's possible. But because I want to see one of my favorite players in Kawhi Leonard possibly return for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you just get in as the 8 seed, and the potential to have both Paul George and Kawhi back. I mean, this team, that's enough talent to go on a run to possibly come out of the West, even as the 8 seed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, there's not really no dominant team besides the Suns that is in the West, and if you can take at least one game in Phoenix, if you're the Clippers, I think that they could have a chance to win a series like that.
Yeah, but if the Pelicans win, I think the Suns beat the Pelicans in like 5 games, probably.
I think it's a sweep.
Yeah. Um, so, I mean, we'll keep an eye on this game. Pelicans up 14, about to be halftime. Um, let's look at let's start with the let's see here. Let's start with the West. Suns and the winner of this game. Yeah, we just talked about that. Suns should beat that in 4 or 5. Um, looking at the 4 or 5, the Mavs and the Jazz. Luka is out for game 1 with a calf strain. I expect him to come back after a game or two. I don't think he misses more than 2 games, and he probably only misses one. The Mavs are going to need him, though. I'm not really sold on the Jazz, but if Luka can play game 2 on, I got Dallas winning this series. How about you?
Yeah. So who are the Jazz facing again?
Jazz, Dallas, Jazz, Mavs.
Oh, okay. This one is a toss up for me because the Jazz are a very good basketball team, and you know, but at the end of the day, I think I'm gonna go with Luca and the Dallas Mavericks.
The thing is, so with Luka out for game 1, you're looking at Kristaps Porzingis, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jalen Brunson need to step up. Tim Hardaway Jr. is out. So Luka's really the engine of this team. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Jazz win game 1. But you get Luka back and fully healthy, ready to go. I mean, I doubt he's going to be fully healthy, but 90%, 80% Luka is enough, I think, to win the series. I think Dallas wins in 6 or 7, but I think it might be a long, tough series.
Yeah, I agree because I believe both teams are evenly matched.
Yeah. The
And
Jazz, I mean, you got Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson.
yeah, and so I know Luca's injury is always a nagging injury, though, man. That's what
Yeah.
scares me about it.
Yeah, like the worst thing that could happen is him to re-aggravate it. Or, I mean, if he's on the court, even 70, 80%, he's going to be enough because he can impact the game a lot on just shooting and passing. He doesn't need to be that driving kick guy. But, if he re-aggravates it and is out, then I think the Jazz could steal the series.
I have to agree with you.
Let's go Warriors Nuggets. This is a really interesting series because Steph Curry expected to be back from injury for game 1. You got Klay Thompson finally back, which I'm so happy to see Klay back and shooting lights out. He started playing his best ball towards the end of the year. You got Draymond Green back from injury. So you got the core there, the championship experience. And then you've got, Andrew Wiggins, who's played pretty well, and Jordan Poole, who, is on pace to be like a future star, a pretty damn good player. Warriors are going to be a tough out in the West regardless. I think the Warriors might be the best threat to the Suns to win the West. What do you think on that?
You know what, Alex? I'm gonna have to disagree with that one.
Okay, who do you think? Or why don't you think the Warriors?
I mean, it's they've been iffy this season, and they're 5-6 since the All-Star break, and or they've been losing, you know, fairly well against bad teams since the All-Star break, and I just don't think that they have enough. Now, if you're asking me, the team who I think has a chance against the Suns,
Yeah.
that would be a young core in the Memphis Grizzlies.
See, I'm not buying the Grizzlies. I'm just not. I think the Warriors. So I think the Nuggets, Warriors Nuggets is going to be a hell of a series. You've got, potential MVP Nikola Jokic, but the Nuggets are hampered as well. No Jamal Murray, no Michael Porter Jr. So it's Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Monte Morris, Will Barton. I think the Warriors win that series in 6 or 7. I think it's a hard fought, but the Warriors find a way. And you can't underestimate, especially in the playoffs, that championship experience. I think if the Warriors get past the Nuggets, I've got the Warriors going to the Western Conference Finals.
I mean,
Um,
they're loaded with talent. It's just from what I've seen this regular season is I've also seen it where the Warriors would lose 2, 3 in a row and struggle really bad.
yeah, but playoffs are different, and I think they're going to turn it on for the playoffs. I think you look at a core like, Draymond sat out a lot of games, getting fully healthy. Clay was getting his legs back under him. The playoffs start, and that big three is going to turn it on. And I just think they got some magic in them. What about the Grizzlies? Do you have confidence in? This is a team that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they've ever won a playoff series together. I get they're the 2 seed, and John Morant's the star. But other than John Morant, you're talking Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson. What is there to trust about this Grizzlies team? I mean, I got them beating Minnesota, but I don't have them going any further than that. I think the Nuggets or the Warriors can knock the Grizzlies out.
Hear me out, Alex. They play together. They play team ball, and
Mm-hmm.
John Morant is, when healthy, he's a leader and makes his teammates play better. He is definitely, and I mean, even without Morant, they have a winning record and they almost double it. So it's
Yeah,
just,
but you gotta throw away those regular season stats come playoffs. You have to. Like the Bulls had a winning record without Derrick Rose, but we all knew that wasn't going to translate to the playoffs. John Morant's the engine that makes it go. The playoffs are about dudes, about stars, about number one options that can get their bucket no matter the defense, no matter the situation, and in the clutch. And I know John Morant's that guy, but Golden State's got like at least 2, if not 3. They got 2 in Steph and Clay. I really do think Clay steps his game up in the playoffs more than anybody else.
and see what bothers me about the Warriors is Draymond Green is not very good on the offensive end.
I disagree. You're looking at scoring. What about his passing and his screen settings and his offensive rebounding?
I mean, that's important, but when it comes down to it, you're going to have to be a scorer.
How impactful was Joakim Noah without scoring the basketball in screening, offensive rebounding, and passing?
You have a good point there.
Draymond can do all that, and he is a hell of a defender. And he doesn't need to be the scorer when you got Steph and Clay, and Wiggins can score, and Jordan Poole can score. And Steve Kerr, I just believe in the Warriors because of their championship DNA. This is a team that doesn't have just one championship. They got three.
So,
And go ahead.
do you trust Draymond against the Joker?
Uh I'll put it this way. Draymond's ability to defend is the best probably in the league. Like I know he's up and down and he can get, technical fouls, get kicked out of the game, and he can be a liability on the offensive end. But defensively, I don't think I would rather have anybody else. And Jokic can still get his. Jokic is still going to score, and he's still an elite passer. So your goal, I think, against Denver is not to shut Jokic down, is to shut down his teammates. Jokic is going to get his, but don't double team Jokic or put all your attention on Jokic and allow him to beat you with the passes for open shots for his teammates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good matchup.
I'm really looking forward to Warriors Nuggets. That's my favorite series to watch in the West. Um, Mavs Jazz is interesting, and I hope it's Clippers Suns because that'll be interesting. But they're losing right now at halftime, so and Ernie Johnson just beat Shaq to the big board at halftime, so
All
Shaq
right.
Shaq Shaq doesn't have it anymore.
How many times did Shaq trip to go into the big board?
Let's go to the East. So, well, let's finish up the West. So let's say it's Suns Mavs second round, and Luka hopefully is close to 90-95%. Can the Mavs challenge the Suns in that series?
I believe that they can. What is the status of Chris Paul?
That I don't know, but I believe he's playing.
Okay, this Suns team is really, really good. And their record reflects it. And again, they have the ultimate leader, who I believe is the best leader to have on your team in the NBA right now. And
Yeah, and that's the thing is that they're a pretty deep roster too. Um, yeah, I believe Chris Paul is playing. I don't see anything on here about his injuries. Um, but when I look at the Suns, it's not just Devin Booker, who is pretty damn good. Chris Paul, who's obviously, tough to steps his game up in the playoffs, tough to beat. DeAndre Ayton is a damn good rim protector and center. But it's the guys like, if you remember from their deep run last year, guys like Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, those guys all stepped up last year.
oh yeah, for sure.
And it sucks that they're not going to have power forward Dario Saric, but they're a deep team, I think.
Yeah, and I think they're the best team in the whole entire league who can challenge the Bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I see, March 24th, Chris Paul returned from a fractured thumb injury. So he should be good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, so Suns, I think the Suns will beat the Mavs, but that could go 6 games. I don't know about 7, potentially 7, but I think it goes at least 6. I'll be surprised if it's 5 games unless Luka's hurt. Um, I think it's Warriors Grizzlies is what we're looking at. And I'm not trying to intentionally hate on the Grizzlies. I think Warriors Grizzlies is a 6 or 7 game series, but I'm taking the championship experience.
I mean, yeah, and I totally understand that, but man, I've seen the Grizzlies play, and they have played better in games compared to what the Warriors have. The Grizzlies beat the teams that the Warriors struggled with and beat them pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's a different. It's the playoffs now, and the Warriors have that proven. They know how to win, And Warriors Nuggets is going to be a damn good series, a hell of a series. Warriors Grizzlies too, but I'm favoring the Warriors in both of those. And let's say it's Warriors Suns. Do the Warriors have enough to come out? I know you're sleeping on that. I think the Warriors can, and if it's Warriors Suns, I'm picking the Warriors to win the West. I might as well go ahead and say that right now, that I think the Warriors are going to win the West.
See, that's the thing is, I just don't think that they can beat the Suns. I just don't. I think
And
the Suns have too much firepower.
I would love to see that series. I hope that's what we get, a Warriors Suns Western Conference Finals. And that's another 6 or 7 game series. It's not going to be easy for the Warriors. Nuggets, Grizzlies, Suns, it's going to be tough either way.
Yeah, and let me say this about the Grizzlies, man, is even if they don't make it past, kudos to them for being so young and only having one superstar and having the 2 seed, and man, if they can get Ja Morant some help, they can bring a championship to Memphis.
Yeah, I love the Grizzlies have a bright future. To be a 2 seed already, and yeah, Ja Morant is a star, a future, you know, like he's going to be tough to defend forever. So let's say it's Grizzlies Suns. Let's say the Grizzlies get there. How do you think the Grizzlies match up against the Suns? I got the Suns favor there. Maybe I'm sleeping on the Grizzlies a little bit more than I should, but the reason I want Warriors Suns is because I think it's the best matchup.
Which on paper it is,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I just feel like this is one of those runs from Memphis that we've seen from teams that just fly under the radar and then show up in the playoffs and really do some damage.
Yeah. And so, I'm gonna have to watch some of these Grizzlies Timberwolves games and keep a close eye on them, see how they play. And Minnesota really isn't that bad of a team. I mean, I really like Anthony Edwards. In all the praise that I'm giving to Ja Morant, I should be giving a lot to Anthony Edwards as well, because I think he's just as much a future star as Ja Morant.
Absolutely. And then, you obviously can't forget Karl Anthony Towns and
D'Angelo Russell, Patrick Beverly, who's got playoff experience, big game playoff experience.
the defense on that team is nuts.
Yeah. One of my biggest things anti Timberwolves, I do not trust Karl Anthony Towns at all.
Wow.
Yeah. And he didn't play well in the play-in game, even though the Grizzlies won. And Karl Anthony Towns came out this season and said I believe it was him that said he's the best 7-foot shooter ever, which is very disrespectful to Dirk Nowitzki. I hate to say it, but I don't see Karl Anthony Towns as being a winner.
I think he's good. I just don't think he's great.
Yeah, exactly. And when the games get tough and you're playing road playoff games against the Grizzlies, I think he's going to disappear. And Anthony Edwards is the opposite. I think Anthony Edwards shows up. And that's going to be a fun-ass matchup, as Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant probably going back and forth as the 2 young stars going bucket for bucket. Yeah.
That's the future of the NBA right there. And let me tell you, it's going to be bright, man, because Anthony Edwards, watching some of his games this season, he's electric.
Yep, he is. I might like Anthony Edwards more than Ja Morant, and that's saying a lot because Ja Morant's a straight up stud.
Hear me out though, Alex. Okay, so if there is a man who can slow down Ja Morant, that's Patrick Beverly. So
yes, and he's gonna be playing mind games trying to get those technical fouls.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm talking myself into this series. This actually might be a lot of fun to watch.
I think it is.
Let's go to the East. So the Hawks won tonight over Cleveland. Trae Young, being Trae Young, being crazy, being hitting big shots, coming up clutch in the second half. The Heat are, loaded with Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo, Victor Oladipo, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. These guys, they're just deep. And the Hawks, though, the Hawks were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, an unprecedented run that not many of us saw coming. This could be a really good series. I think the Heat win, but it could go 6 games.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm not too high on the Miami Heat either.
So I'm going to be rooting for him because I like Jimmy Butler. I'm a big fan of him. I like Victor Oladipo a lot. And we forget the Heat made it to the NBA Finals, won the East in 2020 in the bubble.
Yeah, well, that's a bubble.
Yeah, you're just saying that to discredit LeBron.
Yeah. Anyways, I just see it as like, if it was the Heat got the number 1 seed, so obviously, they draw one of the lesser talented teams. But if you give me Heat versus Boston, I'm taking Boston. You give me Heat versus Milwaukee, I'm taking Milwaukee. I just don't think that the Heat can beat these big time teams.
What about Heat Sixers? Because that could be our second round matchup.
Give me the 76ers, man. I think we see something very special from Joel Embiid. I think he's tired of losing, and this is big, not only for Embiid, but for Doc Rivers too, in my opinion.
Yeah, they need to win now. How many years in a row has it supposed to be the Sixers' year, and they can't get it done? Um, you know, they've had Jimmy Butler, they've had Ben Simmons, now they got James Harden. How do you see the Sixers Raptors? Do you think that's a good series? I tend to think the Sixers win this in like 5 games.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be fun. I don't think that they're going to be blowout wins because the Raptors are still a good basketball team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pascal Siakam is going to steal 1 at least, maybe 2.
Yeah, Fred VanVleet.
Who is that? I was watching the other day. I know one of the 76ers players. He's a good role player, but he's not going to be able to play because he only had 1 shot from his vaccination.
I don't know, but we're still doing this. The league's still not letting players play.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on ESPN that he had to sit out because he only had 1 shot, and in Toronto they want you to have be fully vaccinated before you can even enter the arena.
Yeah, because COVID's still raging everyone. This is so stupid. I'm tired of this narrative. It's 2022 already. Let's just play basketball. Fucking Canada.
I agree.
I got the Sixers in 5 or 6. Now let's go. So Sixers Heat, man, I'm going Heat. I'm not a believer in the Sixers. I haven't been a believer in the Sixers every year. I just don't think Embiid, and I don't trust James Harden at all. Like, I think he's not the guy to go on a deep playoff run. He's proven it time and time again. Embiid is a star, but he's got to prove it. And can I sit here and pick the Sixers to go to the Eastern Conference Finals after last year getting beat by the Trae Young Hawks? No, I can't. I got the Heat going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I could see it, but you're right about James Harden. He's not a proven winner in the playoffs, but I feel like this is kind of do or die for Doc Rivers. You know, I think that
Yeah.
the players are going to play for him.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if they can step their game up. We both have them beating the Raptors. So Sixers Heat in the divisional in the second round. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see, who comes out of that. Um, let's do Bucks Bulls. You're not gonna like my thoughts here, and I'm a Bulls fan, bro. This is an interesting spot that I found myself in all year long, being a Bulls fan and not trusting this Bulls team at all. It definitely hurts not having Lonzo Ball, but this is like the absolute worst matchup for the Bulls, don't you think?
I absolutely agree. And if there was a team that I did not want to play in the first round, it was the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, I'd much rather play the Celtics or even the Heat. Um, I mean, be real. Like, was I right? Was I right all season long about this Bulls team?
Ladies and gentlemen, I give my hats off to Alex Leak. He called it. He told me in many text messages that there's a difference between, playoff Bulls and regular season Bulls, and that they were going to collapse just because, they didn't have, they just weren't ready.
And I mean, injuries is part of it. Not Lonzo Ball is a huge loss, but even at full strength, I never saw this team getting past the second round. And man, I could show you Bulls Twitter posts and tweets saying this team's going to win a championship this year, and I was not buying any of that. Do I trust? What has DeMar DeRozan done in the playoffs to make me believe that he's going to go to the finals?
I mean, he has choked, several times
Yeah,
when he Raptors.
yeah. Raptors Cavs wasn't even close. It's like put up a fight. Instead, you had LeBron shooting left-handed in the playoffs, just making a fool out of the Raptors. I mean, um,
That's what goats do.
yeah, but I mean, LeBron was doing
I like how you turn that around.
it.
No, but yeah, he obviously has a lot to prove. But
And he's to his credit, he played better this year. He was hitting the mid range. He was being clutch in the regular season. But regular season and playoffs is a different animal, and this is the worst matchup for the Bulls. I mean, I'm going Bucks sweep.
ooh,
I know you got to give them a game, right?
yeah, you have to give him one game.
All right, but you even saying Bucks and 5. I mean, Bulls fans aren't gonna like that, but it's the reality. And I mean, I had people on Twitter telling me this Bulls team this year was better than the MVP Derrick Rose Bulls.
Stop.
I know. And then they got mad at me when I compared them to the Jimmy Butler, Rajon Rondo, Dwayne Wade Bulls.
Did they even watch any of the Derrick Rose era?
They watched, yes, these are diehard Bulls fans, but you know how it goes. It's like recency bias. And
I mean,
because the Bulls were the 1 seed in the East at the time, people got all fucking crazy.
I'm a diehard Bulls fan. I just can't watch every game because they're not really on the networks that I get.
Yeah. Well, you gotta
But
get that local Comcast Chicago. You gotta get that. Then you can watch every game. But
yeah,
I've
but
been in Seattle, and I mean, I didn't need to watch every game to know this Bulls team wasn't for real. They're just roster construction. When it comes down to the playoffs, give me Jimmy Butler. I've been shitting on him, but give me Joel Embiid. Give me a guy like that. Give me Giannis. Give me Jason Tatum. Give me KD and Kyrie. Those are the guys I want. You know?
yeah,
So Bucks in 4 or 5. Celtics Nets. This is the matchup of the playoffs. This is where I believe the 7 seed Nets take down the 2 seed Celtics in 6 games. Um, Chuck and Shaq were talking about this, how KD and Kyrie come playoff time, are two of the toughest dudes to defend in the entire league. With the rumors that Ben Simmons could be back by game 4 or 5, man, give me the Nets over the Boston Celtics in 6 games.
You know what, Alex? I agree. And for the simple fact that I think Kyrie Irving is going to be out for blood.
Yes.
He's going to come, and say, okay, I'm free now. I'm able to play in these games, and I'm going to show you guys just how good I can be.
And KD too. KD wants all these Nets want. They remember that loss last year to the Bucks. And all I want and all the Nets want is a Bucks Nets rematch in the second round. That'll be must-watch basketball. That shit's going 7 games. And I tell you what, the X factor, the key to the Nets, Ben Simmons is the absolute key to the Nets. And some people are going to be like, what? The dude that wouldn't even shoot a layup last year in the playoffs? Yes, because he doesn't need to be a scorer. He has length and the ability to defend at a decent to pretty good level. And he and he can play point guard and facilitate and get Kyrie and KD open looks and hit the open guys. You got guys like Seth Curry and Patty Mills and guys that can shoot the ball. So in my opinion, if Ben Simmons comes back and is good to go, I've got this Nets team coming out of the East.
It's man. There's not one man on the Nets who can stop Giannis, though, bro. Giannis can take a whole starting 5 and just destroy every single one of them.
Nets Bucks will go 7 games. I mean, and that's going to be a knock 'em out, knockdown battle. And I think whoever wins Nets Bucks comes out of the East.
Whoever wins Nets Bucks wins the championship. That's just my opinion.
I agree. But, I mean, as of right now, my prediction is Nets Warriors in the NBA Finals.
Nets Warriors. Ooh.
With KD going up against his old team, trying to win a championship against his old team and prove to all the haters that say the only reason KD has any championship rings is he was on a stacked Warriors team. Now he's going to go play them to prove that he can win. Or you got Steph Curry and Clay and Draymond saying, we never needed you, Draymond, and we're going to beat you.
You know something? I was just about to ask you, like, what does that do for Steph Curry's career? I mean, he's beaten LeBron, then you beat KD, and then it's like, man, you would have to put him up there for real.
Yeah. Steph Curry's legacy is solid. He's the greatest shooter, greatest three-point shooter, at least, of all time. He's a 3-time NBA champion. He's a MVP, right? I believe he's got multiple MVPs.
Yeah, I think he's the first ever unanimous.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I think he's got 2. But was
he one of the ones who won back-to-back?
Yeah, he might have had back-to-back even. I mean, he's a 2-time scoring champion, 2-time three-point champion.
But let me
2-time MVP back-to-back, yes. 3-time NBA champion. Yeah, we got to give Steph Curry. People want to say he doesn't have any finals MVPs. Maybe this is his year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so let me say this, Alex. How many rings does LeBron got? 4, right?
Yes.
If Steph Curry wins, that would make him have 4, right?
Yes.
So explain to me what would be too much of a difference.
LeBron fans are going to just say that LeBron's great and throw out anything else. I mean, yeah, Steph Curry will be the greatest three-point shooter of all time. He'll have 4 championships. He'll beat Kevin Durant, who people said that he couldn't win without Durant. LeBron fans say if the Warriors didn't get Durant, the LeBron Cavs win 2 or 3 championships, which I call BS. So, you know, it's the debate's gonna live on. But if Steph Curry gets the 4 rings, that's huge for his resume. Quickly, I mean, so either you got the Sixers over the Heat, right?
Yeah.
All right, I've got Heat over Sixers. Do you have Bucks over Nets?
Man, do I have to pick this one?
Yeah, you got to. And we'll talk more. We'll do a episode or two when the series is going on. So we'll dive into this.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
All right. And I get the feeling we're gonna have Ricky G on Monday, and he's gonna back your point. I think he's taking Bucks over Nets.
And I give you the reason why.
Yeah.
So again, the Nets, excuse me, the Bucks. I just think they're, you were talking about how like the Bulls roster didn't work. Well, the Bucks are doing amazing things with, one superstar.
Yeah, and Chris Middleton is a hell of a number 2. People don't like to talk about Chris Middleton, but he's a solid, and he's come up clutch before too.
Holiday is a good defender.
Yep. Brooke Lopez is a solid center too.
And him being back is huge.
Yeah.
That is massive for the Bucks, but I just feel like I said, that Kyrie and KD are out to prove something.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to get past the Bucks. That's what it comes down to, and they can't. Something we need to keep an eye on is that, as crazy as it sounds, is the Nets looking past the Celtics at the Bucks. The Nets have to take it one game at a time and take care of the Celtics first. And the Celtics are a damn good team. If they don't step up and beat the Celtics, then they go out in the first round and people are making jokes.
Yeah. Plus, I think KD needs this. Like, if KD loses again, people will start to question his legacy.
Yeah, I mean, you got a talented team. And, like I said, Ben Simmons coming back is huge. And that's a factor that we haven't seen yet. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know how it translates. If the Nets can have it 2-2, and Ben Simmons is coming back for a game 5, I think that's a difference maker in putting the Nets over the Celtics. And that could be a huge difference maker in the Nets and Bucks. If you remember last year, Kyrie got hurt. So it was KD and an injured Harden. Harden was like 75%, 60% against those Bucks. KD was carrying that team. So if you've got a healthy Kyrie and a healthy KD, and God forbid Ben Simmons as well, I just think that's the most talented team in basketball, bro.
Oh yeah, I mean, the roster shows, and I think that their play is going to show. But do not let Stephen A. Smith hear you say that Ben Simmons is going to play. Okay.
Yeah, but don't let Stephen A. Smith hear that Kyrie was going to play back in September either.
Yeah, so, I know. I'm just kidding. But
yeah,
the Clippers have just done a total 360 in this game.
Hell yeah, they got the lead. Go Clippers, man. I'm rooting for them, because if they can win this, we got a series against the Suns, bro. That's going 6 games at least.
Let me tell you, man, if Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are both playing, man, the Clippers could upset the Suns.
I believe it too. And that's the thing is, so if the Clippers can win tonight, Paul George will get back off of COVID, so he'll be ready to play. He might miss 1 game, but that'll be it. He'll be back. And there's rumors and speculation that if the Clippers get into the playoffs, Kawhi Leonard will come back and be good and play. And if that's the case, that transforms this team into a title contender. And so Clippers, Suns, and even without Kawhi, Clippers, Suns is going 6 games in my opinion, if you get a healthy Paul George.
Yeah, I agree. And let me tell you though,
and the grit and fight to win this game without Paul George would do wonders to carry this team and their momentum into the playoffs.
Yes, and if they get if they somehow beat the Suns, look out. They might come
Yeah.
out of the West.
Yeah. I got the Clippers over the Mavs. And dude, Clippers Warriors Western Conference Finals would be fire. So like the NBA regular season is hard to watch. Like for most of the year, I have a hard time watching regular season basketball. But as soon as it turns into this type of basketball, do or die, everything on the line, and these players start playing defense and start giving 110% effort, this is great basketball. You can't replace this. This is legacies on the line. And with social media and people talking shit and making jokes, this means everything to these guys.
I absolutely cannot agree with you more on that statement. And so, what is your percent of what percent of chance do you give that Leonard plays? I think he's gonna play.
I think it's low, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I think it's like 60%. But if they get him, I mean, I don't think Ben Simmons is high either. I think Ben Simmons is 70%. But if these teams get those guys, then it changes everything. And so we'll have to wait and see. But it starts tonight. The Clippers have to finish this game, beat the Pelicans, and our guy Dime Dropper's at this game, hyping everybody up. So we'll have
Go!
to see. What's that?
I said go Clippers.
Yeah, I agree. Go Clippers. Beat the Pelicans. We want to see Clippers Suns in the first round. I think the Suns are rooting for the Pelicans like crazy.
Yeah, they're a little scared.
But all right, so you've got Bucks coming out of the East, right?
Oh man, can you ask me that like in a in a week or so?
Well, that's your prediction right now. This is our going
Yes,
into the playoffs prediction. You've got Bucks over Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
yes, I do, and that decision is only depending on how the Nets play.
Yeah. And then so Bucks Suns NBA Finals for you, right?
Yes, and again, that also depends on the alignments of the rosters and everything.
The reason I don't think that's going to happen is how often do we see back to back? You know, like as of right now, yes, it's easy to pick Bucks Suns. That's the safe bet. That's who a lot of people are picking. Very rarely in NBA history do you get the exact same matchup in the finals back to back years.
Well, let me tell you, Alex, it takes special talent for that. And we've seen it with Steph Curry, we've seen it with LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, all of them. And Giannis is right up there with them guys, and he's a very, very special player.
I agree with you on the Bucks. I don't agree on the Suns. I don't think we see the Phoenix Suns in the NBA Finals. I don't think we should have seen them last year. That's where I'm getting crazy. But I don't think the Suns were a championship level team last year. And I don't think they are this year either.
Oh man, can I have what you're smoking?
I think there's better teams. Give me the Warriors are the best team in the West and a
The,
championship level team. Give me the Bucks or the Nets in the East. And the Heat are a fringe third, and I got the Heat above the Sixers.
so, what if the Heat make it out of the East? Do you think they can beat any team in the West?
Um, Heat Suns, that could be a damn good series. It'd be pretty hot, regardless. Um, but I mean, Heat Warriors. No, I got the Warriors. So I don't know, but man, give me Nets Warriors. That's what I want to see in the finals, bro. KD versus Steph, Kyrie versus Klay Thompson, Draymond versus any of these guys. But like, And it depends also, LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin. What's their deals?
Yeah, I agree.
Let me look that up real quick. But I can't wait for these playoffs. As much as I haven't been, you know, super following, super into the league during the regular season, I'm all in on these playoffs.
Yeah, and this might make you, you know, sit there and call me crazy, but Blake Griffin, whether he plays or not, to me is not a big factor.
It's not a huge factor, but it is a factor. So 4 weeks ago, um, LaMarcus Aldridge will be out at least another week as he continues his rehab. These guys have been just to rest up and get to the playoffs. I believe we see both. The Nets are going to be fully healthy, in my opinion. Let me look at Blake Griffin. You say Blake Griffin doesn't matter. He does, though. Like his scoring, Blake Griffin as a starter, no. But Blake Griffin off the bench, absolutely, especially in the playoffs.
He can't score anymore.
Yes, he can. He was scoring last year in the playoffs. He can shoot the three ball now.
I mean, for him to be successful, he'd have to have at least 12 or 14 a game. Is he capable of doing that? Do you believe that?
He doesn't need to do that to be successful. He needs to score 6 to 8 points, and he's a factor. When it comes down to the playoffs, and you're talking Nets, Bucks, every point is going to count. That's how close those guys are. So if you can get 4 points off the bench, you take it. I don't care who it is. Like scoring is going to be at a premium. Every bucket's going to count. And a guy that needs to step up for the Nets to do this is Seth Curry. Last game I watched, the play-in, he was missing far too many open threes against the Cavs. He's got to hit those. You're a Curry, bro. That's your job. You don't do anything else but hit the open three, and you're a success. And the guy that I do trust, Aaron was making fun of me for this, but an X factor and a guy I really do trust for the Nets in the playoffs, Patty Mills. That dude can hit the open three. He's a knockdown shooter.
Yeah. How about the potential of seeing brothers in the NBA Finals?
That would be awesome. The Curry family wouldn't know what to do, and that's one thing I wouldn't look forward to is seeing all those shots of Steph Curry's and Seth Curry's mom and Steph's wife and Del Curry. Like enough with them. We know they're there. We know the Currys are playing. Let's focus on the game on the court.
Yeah.
You see that in the March Madness when they kept showing Coach K's wife and they kept showing like players' girlfriends. Like, I don't give a damn about any of that. Show me the game.
I agree. Yeah. One last thing here. I was just about to say something. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I that Nets and Bucks, I am so looking forward to that. So Nets, please knock off Boston.
Yes. Go. So the two teams I'm rooting for the most, Nets against the Celtics, Clippers tonight against the Pelicans, and Warriors against the Nuggets. I want the Warriors to advance. Clippers are up 11 now.
Oh yeah. So my last question for you is, man, if it goes 7 between Bucks and Nets, you don't think that the Bucks have that home court advantage being in Milwaukee?
Well, I'm going to keep going back to it. Kevin Durant with an injured Kyrie who was not playing and a less than 100% James Harden was inches away from sending the Bucks home in Milwaukee last year in Game 7. He ran out of gas in overtime, which, of course, because a 7-game grueling series against Giannis and you're on the road, you have to put him away in regulation. And so he was a toe on the line away. advantage Bucks, but can Durant and the Nets do it? Absolutely. They're talent-wise, give me the Nets over anybody in the NBA if they're fully healthy.
KD should just wear one size smaller this year.
Or just take a little bit of a step back. You got to, that's part of it is knowing where you're at on the court. You can't take a long two with your toe on the line, but if he missed it, they lose in regulation, and that's my thing is Durant, if of anybody in the NBA who I trust in the clutch, game 7 with the series on the line, do or die, give me Kevin Durant.
You wouldn't believe how many people would disagree with that statement, though.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to say LeBron, and I would laugh.
Not only that, but for some reason, the hate on KD is real, man.
Well, that comes from a lot of LeBron fans who don't like the fact that Durant hit multiple daggers on LeBron in the 2017 and 2018 finals. And let me add this. If Kevin Durant doesn't pop his Achilles in the 2019 finals, I believe dude has a three-peat.
I probably agree with you.
Because he was balling and the Warriors had momentum. I believe the Warriors were down 3-1 to the Raptors and come back and win that shit in 7. And I'm a big Kawhi fan, but that's the respect factor I have for Durant. And I can't wait, bro, for these playoffs. I'm glad the Nets are in it. Nets Celtics is going to be fire. And keep an eye on the Warriors. That's my sneaky team in the West.
So hold on, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but were you basically trying to say that Kawhi wouldn't be a champion if Durant didn't pop his Achilles?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Well, Kawhi's a champion in San Antonio.
Yeah. Does he have 2 rings or 3?
2.
Okay.
San Antonio and Toronto. And that just goes to show you it's the people that get on Twitter and tell me that Jordan's three-peats are overrated. Bro, if the KD Warriors can't three-peat, it shows you exactly how damn tough it is. If the Showtime Lakers couldn't three-peat,
or
if
even
LeBron's Heat, let me be a reasonable here. If LeBron's Heat with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh can't three-peat, how difficult is it then? Stop hating on Michael Jordan when he's got goddamn 2 of them. Anyways, I'm getting worked up.
Well, you would know what the excuse would be for that. Jordan didn't play anybody.
Yeah, except for the Hall of Famer combination of Stockton and Malone and Peyton and Kemp and MVP Charles Barkley and the greatest point guard in NBA history, Magic Johnson. Yeah, nobody.
Those are not my words, okay?
Yeah, I know that. I deal with those guys every day on Twitter. I was dealing with them before we got on this podcast tonight. So telling me that Michael Jordan, that's the whole thing, saying that Jordan couldn't defend Magic Johnson in the 91 finals, so he had to have Pippen do it. And then I started showing them game film, and they got upset and butthurt about it.
I mean, they were just mad because you know what you're talking about.
Well, I asked them, I was like, I've seen that series. Have you? And then they started changing the subject, trying to change the topic. I'm like, go watch the series. Then we can debate on it.
Yeah, yep.
But anyways, great shit. I mean, we're excited as hell for these playoffs. They start tomorrow. So I'm going to be sitting back watching basketball all weekend long.
Yeah, it's going to be nice, man. Tomorrow is Nuggets and Warriors.
Yeah, at 10 a.m. my time, at 1 p.m. your time at 10 a.m. is Jazz Mavs. At 1 p.m. your time, Jazz Mavs. Then it's Timberwolves Grizzlies, Raptors Sixers, and the nightcap Nuggets Warriors on ABC.
Man, I feel like this is March Madness.
I know. It's going to be so much fun, bro. All right, man. Good shit. We're going to be doing these episodes all playoffs long. Like I said, we got Ricky G. We're going to have Dime Dropper Pod coming on the show. We might have Hoops and Brews at some point. We're going to try to get a former NBA player or two to talk the playoffs. So make sure and subscribe. Hit that like button. Tell us what you think. Tell us where we're wrong, about the Warriors and Nets and Bucks and Suns. And have a great week, guys. Peace out.